All right, so I'm here with Douglas Wilson,
Hi.
one of the godfathers of the classical education movement. How would you describe your role in the classical education movement?
I would describe what we did as being the rock at the top of the avalanche.
It started a big thing.
It started a big thing, but I think it was because the preconditions were right for, no one raindrop is responsible for the whole flood. But there is a first raindrop. Right.
There was a lot of families that were discontent with the other options.
Right.
That'd be one of the conditions. I was homeschooled. My parents were not going to put me into school, and there were people looking for something else.
There was a widespread coast to coast dissatisfaction. Number one, with the government school system, and number two, with the superficial nature of a number of the Christian responses.
Okay.
So there were Christian schools, private Christian schools, but there wasn't a full-orbed Christian worldview in education that was being promoted, and so there was a deep hunger for that, and in God's providence, Recovering Lost Tools of Learning was sort of a first articulation of, hey, why don't we do something about this? And there were a bunch of people who said, yeah.
That works for me. Now, so I'm coming in sort of in the middle. I encountered classical education in college, Victoria Honors Institute, for the first time.
Okay.
And one of the things I've been asking people is, what's next? We sort of seem to have captured the trivium, really well.
Right.
Is the quadrivium next?
Yes.
Is colleges next? What do you think?
Yes, I would say that higher education is the next big mountain range that we need to tackle. And the reason, there are some sociological, demographic reasons for this. There are many, many Christian colleges all across the United States.
Right.
But they were formed when Christendom was still a living memory. Right. So the private Christian academies K through 12,
yes,
and the classical Christian schools K through 12 are all within the last generation, and they formed in reaction to the great cultural apostasy that we're going through.
Okay.
And so there's a more defined sense of the antithesis between what we're doing and what they're doing in the K through 12 realm.
Yes.
So many Christian colleges have made their peace with the cultural apostasy. There are very few colleges, there are a handful, but there are very few colleges that are doing what the K through 12 Christian school resurgence is doing. And we need full-throated, exhaustive classical Christian education at the collegiate level.
And some of that's just going to happen naturally, right? Because our students are ruined for these colleges.
Yeah, right. They're all dressed up and no place to go. Right.
So college is next, and a lot of these colleges didn't have the vision at the time, right, to avoid the cultural apostasy. Right. But now we do.
Right. There are schools that have been planted in the last few years. New St. Andrews College, Patrick Henry, schools like that.
Yes.
There are other more established schools that have managed to stay clear of a lot of the corruptions of higher ed, Hillsdale, Grove City, Geneva. And there are established schools that have caught the classical vision in a departmental way.
Yes.
Right? So they're starting to develop honors programs, or they've got a dedicated track to it. And so things like that, all of those things need to be encouraged.
Okay, so two last questions. Have you come across the CLT test, and do you feel good about that? That seems like it might be a piece of this puzzle.
Yes, it's a great start.
Okay.
They're just getting liftoff.
Right.
New St. Andrews is using the CLT.
Okay.
And it was an early adapter. I'm really excited about it.
Okay. And then the last thing was St. Constantine, John Mark Reynolds School.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother world of kind of incorporating college into the secondary school years. Have you come across that school?
I don't know enough. I know a little bit, but not enough to comment on.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of the models that I'm curious to see maybe we can dial down, what used to be college education, and we can build that into secondary and make college obsolete.
Right.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Douglas Wilson. Maybe reporting some more interviews later today.
All right.
I really appreciate it.